It started with a laugh, a short, dismissive chuckle that echoed across the studio lights. For just a moment, it seemed like nothing more than a careless slip, a reaction from a news anchor who thought she'd caught a senator saying something absurd. But what happened next would leave not only her, but millions of viewers watching across America, completely speechless. John Kennedy, the U.S. Senator from Louisiana, has built his career on plain-spoken honesty, often laced with humor. He's not the kind of politician who hides behind scripted lines or carefully rehearsed answers. Instead, he speaks the way ordinary people speak, sometimes blunt, sometimes witty, always direct. That's what makes him loved by some, and mocked by others. On this day, as the cameras rolled, Kennedy was answering a question about the struggles of everyday Americans, families struggling to pay bills, small businesses trying to survive, and young people drowning in debt before their lives had even begun. But when he used a homespun metaphor, one of those folksy expressions he's famous for, the anchor sitting across from him couldn't resist. She laughed. Not the kind of laugh that comes from shared humor, but the kind that dismisses someone's words as foolish, even outdated. The moment was awkward. The laugh lingered longer than it should have. And in that split second, viewers expected Kennedy to grow defensive, to lash out, or perhaps to ignore it altogether. But what he did instead transformed the entire conversation. Kennedy paused. He looked directly at the anchor, his expression calm but firm. And then he told a story. He spoke about a man he had met in rural Louisiana, a farmer who worked sunup to sundown, who had nearly lost everything when the crops failed. Kennedy explained how this man, despite all his hardship, had managed to send his daughter to college, the first in their family to do so. He described how that young woman studied nursing, came back home, and now serves her community every single day. That man, Kennedy said, told me he doesn't care about sound bites or political games. He cares about being able to keep food on the table and send his kids toward a better life. The anchor's smile slowly faded as the senator's words sank in. This wasn't about metaphors. This wasn't about clever phrases. It was about real people, living real struggles. Kennedy's voice grew softer, more measured, and with every sentence, the tone in the studio shifted from banter to reverence. He went on to talk about his own father, who worked tirelessly so that Kennedy could pursue an education. "I don't laugh when people tell me how hard life is," Kennedy said quietly, "because I've seen it, I've lived it, and I know what it feels like to wonder if tomorrow will be better than today." By now, the room was silent. The anchor, who had moments earlier chuckled at his words, now leant forward, listening with a seriousness that betrayed her regret. The audience at home could feel it too. Kennedy wasn't just speaking to her, he was speaking to everyone who had ever felt overlooked, belittled, or unheard. And then came the line that turned the entire interview into a viral moment. Kennedy said, "It's easy to laugh at someone's words. It's harder to understand the weight they carry." That single sentence cut through the noise of politics and media, reaching people on a deeply human level. Viewers took to social media, some admitting that they had underestimated Kennedy, others praising the humility and truth in his response. Even critics who rarely agreed with him admitted that he had spoken from the heart in a way few politicians ever do. In the days that followed, the clip spread like wildfire, not because it was dramatic or scandalous, but because it was raw, honest, and profoundly relatable. It reminded people of their parents, their grandparents, their own sacrifices. It reminded them that behind every headline and policy debate, there are stories of families fighting to hold on, to climb higher, and to give their children something better. For the anchor who laughed, it was a humbling moment. She later addressed it, acknowledging that she had underestimated the weight of Kennedy's words. "I learned something that day," she admitted. "Sometimes, the simplest phrases carry the deepest truths." The lesson wasn't just for her, it was for all of us. How often do we laugh at what we don't understand? How often do we dismiss the struggles of others because they're spoken in ways that sound different, or old-fashioned, or unfamiliar? Kennedy's response was a reminder that respect and empathy are more powerful than mockery or pride. As the video comes to a close, one message lingers: words matter, but listening matters more. In a world where division often overshadows compassion, Kennedy's story was a call to slow down, to hear each other out, and to recognize the humanity that binds us all. And that's why the story became so much more than a viral clip. It became a moment of connection, one that turned a laugh into a lesson, and a dismissive chuckle into an unforgettable reminder of dignity, resilience, and hope.